Audiophiles and enthusiasts, stop thinking about the next upgrade to your system and think for a moment about what life is like on the other side. The other side of your vinyl, CD, streaming service, or however you listen to your music. The other side where music is recorded and produced. I know from reading the comments on my videos that audiophiles and enthusiasts are crazy about DACs, which is odd because they all sound the same. Yes, I know what I did there. I'll pause a second to let you hit the stop button and comment. Comment done? Was it satisfying for you? OK, well, I'll go so far as to say that all DACs above a certain level of quality sound very similar. OK, similar. And where differences are audible, it's likely to be in DACs that have headphone outputs, and it's the headphone stages that sound different. But in the studio, it's all about microphones. Where DACs sound very similar, microphones sound very different to each other. The big divide is in their method of operation. Dynamic, using a coil of wire in a magnetic field, like a tiny generator, as invented by Michael Faraday in 1831, a long time ago. The other is the capacitor mic, or condenser as old-timers sometimes put it, which uses the diaphragm as one plate of a capacitor. Sound vibrations vary the capacitance, leading to a change in voltage that matches the acoustic waveform. Credit to Edward C. Wendt of Western Electric and Bell Labs in 1916. And then there are types of dynamic and types of capacitor, sounding different. Then makes and models, and even two identical mics that have aged differently. They all sound different, distinctly different. So today I have the Beyerdynamic M160 and I'm going to demonstrate it. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing.
Well, Black Betty,
I'm thinking about whether it would sound better for my YouTube videos than this mic, which is the Sennheiser MKH416. We'll find out, and we'll have fun exploring the M160's Hypercardioid polar pattern. First, of course, I need to unbox it. So the Beyerdynamic M160 is a ribbon mic. Putting it simply, it's dynamic. The ribbon is the diaphragm and it's also the coil. Effectively a coil of just one turn, suspended in a magnetic field. What sets the M160 apart from other ribbon mics is that it's compact. There are two ribbons, and it has a hypercardioid polar pattern as opposed to the usual figure of 8. Figure of 8 is equally sensitive to front and back, hypercardioid mostly to the front, but we'll explore that in a moment. Time to swap mics, I think. So, do you notice any difference? Do I notice any difference? The first time I'll really be able to tell is when I edit this. But we need a few ground rules. Despite what you see, I'm filming in a small room with the usual rather nasty small room acoustics. I do have acoustic treatment, but it's cheap, cheerful, and doesn't handle the low frequencies. Yes, procrastination, graveyard theory and all that. I'll get round to it. Soon. The green screen background, by the way, is just for efficiency. I can pull it down and start filming no matter what kind of a mess my room is in. Ground rule number 2 is that my voice goes through the isotope RX mouth declick process. You wouldn't thank me if it didn't. Number 3, no EQ, although there is some limiting to bring the level up to around minus 16 lufts, which is close to YouTube's preferred level of minus 14. If I didn't do that, my videos would be quiet compared to others. I could spend a whole video explaining why this would be a bad thing, but I'll just mention it now and say that if I'm going to like this mic, I have to like it using my normal YouTube methods. Okay, where did the mic go? It went overhead out of shot, which is a position I sometimes use for my Sennheiser. It's as close as I can get it without it being in the frame. I kind of questioned earlier whether I'm going to like this mic. Well, I know already. I remember the M160 well going back to the 1980s, and I've used it lots. There's also the M130, which has similar styling and is a figure of 8. I've liked that too. In fact, if Beyerdynamic were to send me an M130, I'd make a video demonstrating it with the M160 as an MS pair. I might even do a walk around in my local village hall. I'm going to change the position again. So this is kind of the traditional position for someone talking. Normally, I like it less, and I find that there's a lighter tone to my voice with the microphone above the level of my mouth. This, in my experience, is true of any mic and any performer. But it's always good to try things and see how they really turn out. I said earlier about different mics sounding different. Normally what you'd expect is that a capacitor or ribbon mic will have a clearer sound than a regular dynamic, in which the coil is attached to the diaphragm, which weighs it down and makes it less responsive. And it's often thought that ribbon mics have a kind of dark sound. It's difficult to find the words that match the subjective experience, but I wouldn't disagree with that. On the Beyerdynamic website we find, in combination with a windshield, the M160 is a great choice for those who wish to give their voice a warm, vintage sound. Again, I don't disagree. As for windshields and pop filters, I'll leave that for another day so you can hear the microphone as it is, pops and all, should there be any. So let's explore the hypercardioid polar pattern of the M160. In theory, there will be some response at 180 degrees, which is the back of the mic, and there should be nulls at 110 and 250 degrees. So I'm going to try and demonstrate this. Front, back, 110, 250. I'll set the angles using a lovely polar diagram I've printed. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Okay, I think that does it. When I listen to my recording, I'll be able to hear which position is best. Obviously not the rear or sides of the polar pattern, and whether the M160 suits my voice better than my Sennheiser. Whether it does or not, it's always the case that which microphone suits which sound source best is a massive variable. One last thing. Suppose I do by some means come across an M130 figure of 8 to pair with the M160 for an MS demonstration. Is someone going to sub me the 50 quid it'll cost to hire the village hall for my walk around? Doesn't hurt to ask. See you soon.
Ach komm, so blöd kann man doch gar nicht sein. Beyerdynamic. Beyerdynamic. Ganz einfach.